Hey, what is going on, guys? XpertFusion here, and welcome to Season 1, Episode 14 of the Telltale The Walking Dead TV adaptation series. This is Episode 14, which is titled Together. So, as of this point in the story, I'm going to explain where the characters are at, just to kind of keep you up to speed. Lee, Omid, and Christa are still at the house, right? They just found that Clementine is gone, and they found her walkie there, and they know she's gone. Lee got bit on the shoulder, and they are planning on going after this son of a bitch, somehow finding him because they hear him on the walkie. So they're going to talk to him, try to figure out how the hell they're going to get to him. Clementine is kidnapped by this person. We don't know who it is yet, but yes, that is something important to keep in mind. Kenny, Jordan, and Ben are heading after the cancer survivor group, including Molly, Vernon, Tony, and all them, because they stole the boat, so that's a problem. And then, of course, Molly, Vernon, Tony, the other cancer survivors, they are out there somewhere with the boat, we assume. And, of course, keep in mind the Crawford army still exists. They're still out there. There's still some of them alive, some Crawford people still alive. They're not all dead or anything. A lot of them either left the community or stayed behind. So they could still be out there. We don't know, but just keep that in mind. So this episode starts off with Kenny, Jordan, and Ben walking through the sewers quietly. They reach the little lab room in which Vernon's group was held up in. They barge in, but everyone is completely gone. All the supplies is gone. Everything is just gone. They keep their pistols up as they search the whole room. They do find some leftover medicine and say they might as well bring this back. They didn't take literally everything, but they left behind a few little things of medicine and shit. Kenny says they might be at the bay taking the boat out right now, so they should head their asses down there and get their shit back. Jordan asks which docks because there's a bunch in the city of Savannah most likely, and Kenny just says we'll just find the closest one to here. Ben tries to come up with a plan, but Kenny shuts it down and tells Ben to keep his fucking mouth shut for now on. He's still pissed at Ben for obviously what happened previously. Lee, Christa, and Omid pack up weapons and supplies and get ready to head for Clementine. Lee shows them a map of Savannah and says they're going to the Marsh House, and hopefully she'll be there. Omid and Christa question why, and Lee says that she doesn't have her walkie, and the only other walkie was on her parents, and her parents stayed at the Marsh House, so that's their best chance at finding her is at the Marsh House. They head out, but in the streets, there is a large herd of walkers approaching the area, the largest they've seen thus far. The group return back to the mansion and close up any entrances with furniture. Lee says they don't have time for this shit. Kenny, Ben, and Jordan make it to the docks. They see the group of cancer survivors attempting to board the boat. This includes Vernon, Molly, Tony, and two other older men. They're the only ones that stayed behind. So I guess the other cancer survivors didn't come. They kind of are questioning where the other ones are, but we don't find out right away. Kenny runs towards the boat as Vernon starts shooting at the group with an AK-47. They all get to cover because they're surprised at the fact that, first of all, Vernon's got an AK-47. Second of all, why the hell is Vernon shooting at us? He doesn't seem to want to actually shoot them, though. He's just shooting like at their feet and such. So they at least know they're not trying to kill them, but they're trying to keep them away. They all get to cover, though. Vernon yells out to them to just let them go and they won't get hurt. Kenny gets up, runs to cover closer to the river as Vernon continues to shoot. Vernon ends up running out of ammo as Kenny then decides to run to the river and shoot Molly in the leg as he's continuously running towards the boat. He jumps onto the boat and he fights Vernon and puts a gun to his head. Tony aims his gun at Kenny and then Molly tries to get up, but she falls. Ben notices a gun store right next to them. It's actually like a gun shop, right? He sees a large rifle on the rack. Tony tells Kenny he doesn't want to do this. Kenny says if he shoots him, he will likely pull the trigger when he's hit, so that'll kill Vernon. Ben ends up coming from around the corner and yells at Kenny to duck. Kenny does quickly as Ben sprays the M4 rifle at the boat. It is a fully automatic M4. He hits all 5 of them multiple times. Tony in the head, Vernon in the chest, Molly gets hit in the stomach, and the 2 old men are hit and killed in multiple places. Kenny stays untouched as he got to the floor quick. The boat was also hit multiple times and starts slowly sinking. Kenny gets out of the boat as Vernon jumps on top of Kenny. He pushes him back into the water and gets out. Kenny realizes he's not a horrible person, so he jumps back into the water and gets Vernon out, and also gets Molly, the two that seemed to still be possibly alive. The other three are completely dead, though, so there's no way of helping them. Jordan and Ben help Vernon and Molly. Vernon and Molly aren't a threat because they are very injured at the moment, possibly on the verge of death. Kenny gets up and starts yelling at Ben and calling him a fucking idiot for shooting the boat and ruining what they've been through. Everything they've been through has been a complete waste because they just lost that boat. Jordan tries to calm him down, but Kenny goes off on saying he's gotten everything he cares about killed or destroyed, and that he'll be better off dead. Ben finally sticks up for himself and tells Kenny to shut the fuck up. He actually sticks up for himself for once. He says that at least Kenny got to say goodbye to his family. Ben says he had to hear over a phone call that his family has been killed in a car accident. All three of them, right when this whole thing started, his mom, dad, and little sister, all killed in one accident while he was at some stupid marching band contest. Kenny realizes how much of a dick he's being, and he apologized just as a large herd of walkers comes from around the corner, just as large as the herd that was surrounding the mansion. Ben and Kenny start running towards one of the stores as Jordan calls out saying they gotta help them, helping Vernon and Molly. Vernon is completely quiet, and Jordan tries to hear for a heartbeat, but it's not there. Vernon is dead and gone. But Molly slowly gets up as the herd approaches and ends up cutting Jordan and Molly off from Ben and Kenny. The walkers got in between them. Jordan and Molly go into some buildings from the left side as Ben and Kenny go into the right buildings. Ben and Kenny throw a bunch of shelves and furniture in front of the window of the store. It's the gun store, but it's completely empty other than the few knives and weapons, like a couple guns and stuff. Not much ammo, though. Ben stares into the herd of walkers banging on the front door as Kenny looks for a way out. The back door is completely blocked by falling debris from the ceiling. Kenny takes a seat by the counter with Ben. They take a breather. Kenny looks at Ben and says he's sorry for everything. Ben says he's sorry for being an idiot all the time. Kenny goes on about explaining why he acts like that. He says he regrets not spending more time with his wife and son. Before the apocalypse, he was always off on a boat with friends and telling Duck and Katja that he'll spend time with them on some other day or whatever, but he never does. Kenny says he was okay with dying after he lost both of them, and he thinks he still is okay with that. Kenny says he's most afraid of being alone, and that's kind of what he's been lately. Ben says he's afraid of dying alone. That's probably his biggest fear. Kenny tells him he doesn't have to worry about that. Kenny finds 2 machetes. He gives one to Ben. He tells Ben, "We are going to fight our way through this." Ben says they'll probably die. And Kenny says if they die together. Back at the mansion, Lee, Christa, and Omid look for a way out to avoid the herd. They get to the roof from the attic and look off into the area. They see that the whole entire area is surrounded by walkers. They're wondering where the hell they came from. Back at the gun store, Kenny opens up the front entrance and lets the walkers funnel into the store. Ben and Kenny go on a slicing and dicing spree. They are just using those machetes like crazy at the walkers, chopping off heads, slicing them up. It's a very bloody and gory montage with some slow motion bits in there, focusing very much on the amount of walker blood and guts that are getting all over Kenny and Ben because of the way they're slicing them. Just the way the way they're killing them just ends up causing a lot of the blood and guts to get on them. And after they kill a couple dozen walkers, maybe more than that, they crowd up the front entrance with the dead bodies. Ben and Kenny are so covered in walker blood, and there's so many dead walkers around the store, so the herd just starts to lose interest in the area, and they start walking away. Ben and Kenny get really confused as one walker even walks into the store and looks right at Kenny but doesn't attack him. Kenny nods at Ben to come follow him as they start making their way into the streets and they walk slowly through the herd. In a very intense montage, Kenny and Ben make it all the way through the herd and reach a safer street. They head back to the mansion. Lee, Omid, and Christa walk across a slab of wood to the next door house. The slab falls last minute as Omid makes it to the roof. They're all safe. Jordan and Molly sit in an apartment building and make their way to the rooftop. They overlook the entire city from the top. Jordan tries to help Molly patch up her gunshot wound. Molly tells Jordan to just leave her. Jordan says they don't do that kind of thing in their group. Kenny and Ben reach the mansion and see the herd outside the house. They slowly make their way through it and go into the backyard. Walkers fill up the backyard too. Ben and Kenny see them on top of the next door house. Ben and Kenny walk into the backyard and meet up with them around the corner of the house as they get down off the roof. They all regroup and discuss what's happened to one another. Kenny sees Lee's bite mark and gets all worried and questions what the hell happened. Lee says it is what it is. Kenny tells them what happened with Jordan and the others. He says he can take care of himself with Molly, hopefully, but they have to hurry. Omid asks why they smell like shit, and Kenny tells them what they did with the walker blood and how it blended them in with the other walkers. Kenny also reassures Lee that if he doesn't make it to them, they will take care of Clementine. Lee thanks them. The group get ready just as the walker herd right behind them comes up behind them and makes them run into the house's backyard. So they all run back into the house because it is completely full of walkers. They have to get into this damn house. Otherwise, it is not safe. Jordan and Molly continue to talk on the roof, and Molly apologizes for what their group just did, stealing the stuff. But, she says she wasn't really that close with Vernon anyways. She always thought he was a little crazy, but she was just a part of them because she cared for them. And they didn't even bring all the cancer survivors. They had to tell the other guys to just leave because of the whole situation with the boat not fitting everyone. So some of the others kind of got away. And Jordan says it's okay and that they're here now. That's all that matters. And they just got to find a way out of here. Jordan gets up onto the roof, looks off, and we get a really open pan-out shot of the entirety of Savannah, full of walkers. I mean, this is the most they've seen, and it is just insane. So the episode ends just like that. 2 more episodes left of this season. Some exciting stuff. I really liked this episode specifically for the scenes with Kenny and Ben. Something about that I thought was just really beautiful, and how that ends up happening in the next episode just makes it even more impactful. The fact that Ben doesn't want to die alone, and the fact that Kenny was like, oh, well, you won't die alone. If we die here, we'll die together. And I thought that was just really beautiful. I really liked writing that. Yeah, we got 2 more episodes, so hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.